you're going to have nanotech inside you changing your DNA and how it's all going to be synthetic and how you're going to merge with machines and be immortal. Now, when I put out my film Endgame 10 years ago, the New York Times attacked it and said it was totally delusional and that I believe the elites were trying to be immortal, but first carry out the extermination of the general population of the planet, that they were going to play God and genetically re-engineer the entire world, and that they would introduce more chemicals and more biologicals through the vaccines and other systems so that they could trigger genetic disorders that were predisposed when you're bombarded with certain chemicals or certain genetics or certain viruses to be triggered. Then as disease becomes epidemic on every front, they will then have treatments that allow you to live but change fundamentally who you are to survive and then make you a captive of that breakaway technology. They're saying within a generation, 90% of births are going to be cesarean. They're already trying to phase out women breastfeeding their children. They knew 100 years ago when they said, go on formula, go to work, women. Don't hold your baby next to your skin. They'd already done psychological testing in England, the United States, and Germany, showing the children would have shrunken brains, low IQs, and be basically sociopathic or zombie-like because they wouldn't have any real empathy or human connection. And that's why you walk around in public, and I don't care what color people are, they all look the same. Most of them look like shrunken head zombies with no life in their eyes, just wandering around aimlessly, shuffling, looking for somebody to give them something. They're the walking dead. I say let the dead bury the dead. I love them, I care about them, but you can't reach most of them. We've got to reach out to the people that still have the spark of energy in their eyes, who are still alive, because the dead are all around us. And I realize that more people every day are succumbing to basically the sleep state, the near consciousness state, and then once they're in that state, they're being programmed, they're being bombarded, they're being conditioned, they're being directed to basically hate themselves and hate everyone around them so they can be prepared to just kind of roll over as husks of former humans and die, falling to this alien system that's being built. When I say alien system, computers are alien to this planet. They're a new system, a new form of information. Are viruses alive or dead? You can argue that. Are computers alive or dead? You can argue that. Google is alive because billions of humans interface with it as a giant neural digital electrochemical network interface. And that's Google's own admission that they are building a over-the-horizon system that can tell the future and then manipulate human stimuli on a mass scale to control the future. That's the big holy grail. But you can only do that by getting the general public to subserve, to hand over their consciousness, to hand over their will to the beast system. And that's what they've now done. They call themselves at the EU, at the IMF, at the World Bank, at the WTO, at the TPP, all the same people. They call it, what do they call it? They call it a technocracy. What is a technocracy? A technological, computerized system of total control run by an elite of technocrats. An all-seeing HAL 2000 computer, mapping human development, human systems, and using that data to warp and destroy and sacrifice humanity on the altar of their synthetic silicon god. But they sell it like it's fun, it's cute. See, don't warn somebody that they're going to try to microchip the public to buy and sell 20 years ago. Oh, you're a kook, you're crazy, even when it's in Pentagon documents. They don't want you to form the opinion that's dangerous up front. So they say Alex Jones is crazy, he's evil, he's bad, it doesn't exist. Then it starts coming on ABC, CBS, NBC. Soon everyone will have a chip. It's for the better good. Just submit. And then now, oh, world government is here. Oh, we are going to penalize you if you have more than one child. Oh, most people are becoming sterile. Don't worry. We have synthetic DNA. The government's going to let you have two daddies because it's You know, families are hurtful. Don't say you're a mother or a father. Don't say you're a mother or a father on your entrance paperwork for your kindergartner. Well, the next step is there are no sexes. They're getting rid of that because there will be no sexes. There's only people hooked into machines, into the big black pyramid of death, the technocracy. And so they come out, what humans will look like in 1,000 years. Oh, we'll be immortal. We'll be in machines. Our consciousness will be in a machine. And I'm sure the people that let us do this big mainframe, it's going to be loving and let us have free will. Because the very people that building it are all against free will. They're into pedophilia. They're into death. They're into war. They're into selfishness. They're into ego. They're into being total narcissists while calling anybody that fights them a narcissist. But, oh, I'm sure in the process of this, we'll all be taken up to the big mothership at childhood's end. And we'll all be happy in one big giant togetherness. But during this re-education, we've got to go live in big plastic sports stadiums, and there'll be no more money. It'll be the wonderful zeitgeist that the UN and the New York Times are pushing. Oh, it's going to be so wonderful. So we have the Plandopolis videos that are shown to elementary school students in England. There's 10 different videos. Guys, cue up Megaopolis of the Plandopolis. It's on YouTube. And oh, you get meat once a year on your birthday, and nobody has cars with the elite. And you're told what job you're going to have, and everything's tracked because of carbon being the big evil. Not genetic engineering. Not all the abominations against the planet and the genome and God. None of that's an issue. Not the human-animal chimeras. No, 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 no. None of that exists, even though it does exist. What really matters is carbon dioxide the plants breathe. Let's tax that. Because this is all about the fallen evil spirit on this planet, this interdimensional parasite wanting to be God. And so it needs to infect humanity made in the image of God. Humanity that's meant to slowly, through free will, develop into our next level. We have this hijacker that's come in and taken over the species and is using it because he doesn't have the creativity to build this new twisted system that it believes is its escape off this planet. Now, the media, whenever I break that down, says I'm crazy, I'm nuts. What am I saying? They've built new silicon creations. They've built new animal human hybrid clones. That's admitted. They've merged hundreds of different species together and put it in pharmacological crops and put it into salmon and put it into monkeys and put it into spider goats decades ago. And yes, China is planning a new megalopolis the size of New England to test new solutions. Kind of like the Pentagon admits that Disney World and Disneyland are psychological warfare testing facilities for the new planned cities where everyone's a prisoner with biometric ID codes. It's a dystopia because the people running it are dystopic. The economy's been turned on in China, not here. That's how they can build megacities in 3 years. We can't even pay off our debt because the elites don't want us to. And along comes Trump saying he wants to do it, and they're fighting him like he's the devil incarnate. So now let me review the video that's gotten 5.5 million views in 2 days. What humans will look like in 1,000 years. Oh, what the elite want you to look like in 50 years if you're one of them. These hateful, greedy people will keep hating and killing until there's only 2 of them left, and then they'll end up trying to kill each other for the great ultimate power of being the only conscious creature. As Ray Kurzweil said, he doesn't believe in God yet. So they have these TV promotions out there, internet promotions, where, oh, it shows, oh, we're 6-7 inches higher than we were 100 years ago, and oh, you know, we had radio, we had TV, and then we had iPhones, and then, like a face sucker, it goes in your ear, it goes on your retina, it goes in your brain, and next you know it, you have turned into a cyborg. And the media will talk about how cool you are and how amazing you are, and then you fully turn over whatever consciousness you have left into that false reality so that you can feel like you're a god. but you won't be a god. You'll be living a delusion, a great delusion. The elites met in the last 30 years. They met 17 years ago, and Bill Joy, one of the owners of Sun Microsystems, said he met there, he talked with the elites, and the decision was give you low-level technology to entertain you to death, make you feel like you were transcendent, while the elite actually try to transcend, and then you'll finally just be exterminated once the robots and computers are all in place, and once you've been entertained into a jellyfish, Wall-E-like existence, so you can be pushed over more easily. You can also read Why the Future Doesn't Need Us, but you can also read Revolution, Flash Mobs, Brain Chips, A Grim Vision of the Future, 2007, 10 years ago, where the British Ministry of Defense and the Pentagon basically said the elites are going to move into compact city-states. Everybody else is going to have their resources turned off. The third world is going to be allowed into what was left of the first world to crash it. Once the first world's been crashed, they'll then have the middle class get in agreement with a biological weapons release that'll wipe out most of the world population. But the injections you're given and the nanotech emulsions you're given, the drinks and blood transfusions you're given with nanotech to allow you to survive the biological apocalypse will enslave you completely as a binary weapon to the globalist system to be subservient, and without paying everything into their system, giving them all your resources, submitting to them totally and completely, they will then not give you the new upgrades that are needed to be able to live into the future. And your journey towards absolute total enslavement will be complete once they insert you into the proto-matrix artificial environment that without it, you'll die. Just like traveling to Mars, you die without an artificial oxygen and gravity environment. You will die on this planet because the great goal is putting you into a system to end your humanity and make you totally subservient to them, like ancient Chinese emperors and empresses in their forbidden city with 3-foot-long toenails and their feet bound so they couldn't even walk, with the ruling class behind the throne telling you from birth, you are the supreme emperor, empress, you can't even wipe your own ass. But through trendiness and culture and it being fun and a grand falloon and a willingness to be giving up your own will to be part of something, quote, successful, you will waive all of your human rights, never even knowing the system that you were basically put into from birth. But no one's more enslaved than the so-called elite themselves that believe they're part of this. That's why they have to bring down the borders, flood us with the third world populations, have feces on the streets, have heroin injectors everywhere, have society breaking down, child porn being force-fed to everybody. So that things are so ugly, you ask for virtual reality. The architecture is ugly. The culture is ugly. You ask to be in part of one of the forest or equatorial Pacific redoubts where you can sit back and watch your technocrat parents direct the destruction of the world from their command base. Why would anyone want to put up with this? Because you look at the jellyfish-like followers injected with brain-damaging chemicals from birth, fluoride, the vaccines, the GMO, shuffling around like zombies, looking for stimulus, looking for entertainment, not knowing real stimulus is about human endeavorment and human empowerment and the human future and transcending this great evil, this marooned interdimensional attack. Because they're building a false synthetic chimera, genetic engineering, beyond the island of Dr. Maru, nightmare. The alien species are already here. The alien attack is already here. The huge dust clouds flying around like interstellar. The atmosphere already breaking down. Holes in the atmosphere. From hundreds of nuclear tests by the United States to try to destroy the atmosphere, to try to destroy the Van Allen radiation belt, to try to blow holes in it. Blowing holes. The scientists just had to do it. They said it was religious to detonate huge hydrogen bombs, hundreds of them in the upper atmosphere, instead blowing holes in it and off-gassing and then geoengineering trying to destroy our atmosphere. We're up against major attack. This is a satanic invasion. You want to know what science fiction looks like, baby? You're in it. And you can already see most of the public's already fallen to it. And now they've got new nanotech in the food and the water, and nanotech in the water, and nanotech in the vaccines. But they need you to opt in, to go take it. It's metaphysical. And you take the vaccine. They've caught the last few major flu vaccines with nanotech in it, with artificially created viruses. The top virologists look at it and they say, we don't know what it is because it's so compressed, but it's super advanced technology. And then it goes in and literally reprograms the brain. And then that's why people are now zombie-like. and they're only alive when they're watching TV being programmed. We're already in the mass collapse. Tens of thousands of pharmacological crops are planted everywhere. Growing viruses, growing live bacteria, growing chemicals. They're blowing around everywhere, just mixing with everything. They're using the plants as the weapon delivery system. And the globalists are testing it all on us. They've got mitigating sciences they've developed that they're testing on themselves. And the only reason they haven't killed everybody yet is they still don't think they'd escape it. They still aren't sure that they've got mitigating systems, and they're worried about nuclear war because there's a few governments they don't completely control, like Russia and others. And Russia's got its own parallel plans along this direction. And so they're all in a race for the singularity, and they're afraid that if they let the cat out of the bag too soon and release the bioweapon, that there'll be other governments like Pakistan and Russia and people, they're going to go so crazy during this, they're going to launch nuclear weapons, and then that could damage their overall plan into the future. But you're already being murdered. You're already being killed. And so why do I even sit here and talk about, oh, the French president with a giant black pyramid behind him built by a Luciferian? Why do we even talk about, of course, there's giant child porn and child kidnapping operations going on. Of course, I mean, the very species is being slaughtered, being diseased, being attacked. The average Westerner has almost a 90% sperm count drop. Most women are now becoming infertile. It's all by design. Breast cancer up 3,000%. Pediatric cancer is over 10,000%. And it's all just normalized. It's all just no big deal. It's all just accept it. Just go along with it. Just give up your consciousness. Just be delusional. Just decide it's all okay. It's going to be fun. Just like the elites say, just let them have their future. Let them tell you it's fun. Let them tell you what humans will look like in 1,000 years. Let's go ahead and play part of this viral video.
What humans will look like in 1,000 years.
Oh, listen, he's non-threatening.
Humans are still evolving. So where will evolution take us in 1,000 years?
Hit pause. Back it up. Where will evolution? You can debate what type of evolution there is. You can debate what really happened on this planet, what seeded us here. You can go through all those debates. But this is telling you, what will evolution look like? Oh, it's just evolution. No, the elite have taken control of our biological development, and they're a bunch of child-molesting devil worshippers who've been promised by their God, if they destroy humanity, they'll be allowed to transcend. Sounds like a science fiction book. The alien spirit tells them, set this up, I'll tell you how to build it. You've already got the technology innate in your brain to build it. I'll direct you to build what I want, because I can't build it. Because all I do is destroy, all I do is twist. You build it, I'll direct exactly what I want, and then you kill everybody, and then I'll let you blast off to space. They actually say that in this video. But again, oh, it's so cute, it's so sweet, it's so fun. It's a nice little nerdly, non-threatening voice. Oh, let's see where the evolution's going right now. No discussion that humans build their own environment. Humans have taken control of their own evolution. Just forget that big human secret that we're master builders. Let the globalists be the architects. Let Lucifer be the grand architect. Let him direct it all. Just sit down and let him run things. He'll take real good care of you. Just put these handcuffs on and come down in this dungeon, and he'll love on you a little bit. Coming up at the start of the next hour, I'm going to finish